Good morning. I know we're probably all excited for the music that we know is ahead. Good morning. Welcome to Pacific Unitarian Church, our beacon of faith and community up here on the hill. It's so nice to see everybody this morning. It's so nice to have it be a little bit overcast. It's so nice to be here. And we have a couple of announcements. Welcome back, Severin. It's so nice to see you. Perhaps I shouldn't say back where he belongs, but back where we want him. A couple of announcements, not too many today. I don't have your phone. I'm going to learn how to read off of a phone when I'm doing announcements, so I'm feeling kind of hip. The paintings displayed on the east side of the wall this week are the product of Eva Tooley's popular auction item, Watercolor and Wine, aka Paint and Sip. This is the second one I've gone to. It's super fun. A dozen people gathered on a perfect evening in July to enjoy excellent wine, pretty wonderful snacks, may I say, in the backyard of the Tooley home in Rancho Palos Verdes, while learning to use Eva's method to interpret an image into a watercolor painting. So thank you to Ava, Duncan, and all who attended, and that's the result of that evening. Another announcement is that there's the chili cook-off on September 11th. So mark your calendars for that. And the UU to vote letters are being handled by Kelly. You can ask her more about that. It addresses marginal voters in swing states. She's had, in the past, a tremendous amount of donations in terms of things to put that together, but is short on postage. So if anybody is feeling like they want to do a donation, postage would be most welcome. And now for our chalice lighting. Across the distance, the light from within me shines, sending love to all. Across the distance, your light is fuel that warms me and helps me to my own light burning. And together, we keep the flame of community burning bright.
Good morning, all. It's so nice to see you all this morning. My name is Chloe Briede, and I'm the interim minister here at Pacific Unitarian. And I want to start this morning with words from the Reverend Bill Schultz. Come into this place of peace and let its silence heal your spirit. Come into this place of memory and let its history warm your soul. Come into this place of prophecy and power and let its vision change your heart. And in the spirit of Reverend Schultz's words, we're going to open today with a bit of silence, letting the silence and peace heal your spirit. And perhaps as you're enjoying the silence, you can imagine the memories and history of this place that we find ourselves in. And even if you've only been with us for a short time, thinking of that memories and those histories, and perhaps even placing your hands on your heart or your chest and feeling their warmth. And then perhaps you can open yourself up to a change of heart. Doing this by taking your hands from your heart and opening yourself up to whatever you might encounter today. Thank you. It is in this spirit that we sing our first hymn today, Find a Stillness, letting practices of silence and stillness carry us into places of prophecy and power, letting its vision change our hearts. It's number 352, Find a Stillness. And you're invited to rise. I love that we all jumped to help.
It's still not working. Oh, good morning. No. 1, 2, 3, no. Good morning. Thank you. Oh, I'd like to invite all our children down. Anybody young at heart? Is it working? Oh, okay. Oh, this microphone business. Thank you, guys. Thank you. Okay. Come on, you guys. Come on, you guys. Oh, goodness. Hi, everybody. Can you guys hear me now? All right, good. We're cooking with gas. Oh, my goodness. Okay, so today we're talking about stillness. And do you guys remember a few weeks ago when we did our mirror? We had a whole lesson on mirrors and reflection. Yeah, and part of what we learned about reflection is that when we slow down and take our time to sit in silence and find peace, then we can reflect on what makes our life good and things that we want to do. So who are our readers? Do we have some readers today? Our kids like to read, and since we don't have reading in our lesson, I made some things for you guys to read. Who wants to read? Nobody wants to read? Okay. So some of these were ideas that they had that came up in our class about things that we can do to slow down that help us take time to reflect. I'm surprised this one doesn't want to read. She always wants to read. Okay. All right. So practice noticing. Taking the time to mindfully notice and savor small moments in your day is a great way to learn how to slow down. Being present for the experience of drinking your favorite drink and really sitting and tasting it and noticing to pay attention to the color and the smells and the taste. Olivia liked that one. Yeah, that was one of hers. Practicing gratitude. It's a great way to slow down and find more enjoyment in life. Not only does it help us bring back the present moment, but it shifts our mind to be positive. And going outside, that was Ellie's. Spending time outside in nature is a good way, because it's a good way to have physical exercise, and it gives mental health benefits. Being in the sun, it can help lower your blood pressure and reduce feelings of stress and anxiety. Well, she didn't pick all that, but that was. But we talked about the benefits of going outside. So, okay. So turn off your phone. Technology is wonderful. It makes life easy. It provides us with a lot of opportunities to connect. But a great way to practice slowing down is unplugging. And our last one is grounding ourselves with our senses. If you're feeling overwhelmed and rushed, a great way to slow down is by, hi, Kevin. Well, that's our most excited reader. You want to read this one, Kevin? No, it's okay. So using your senses can help calm you to bring you back to the present moment, because you need to concentrate and pay attention to what's going on around you. So 5 ways to ground yourself is to think of things that you see and notice. Pay attention to things you can feel, like the air around you, your clothes touching you, your heart beating, your breath. Things you can hear, just being still and noticing the sounds, birds in the distance, the air. Things you can smell, delicious, wonderful smells around us, and things you can taste. And now I'm going to invite Robin to read us a poem. Yeah.
Hi. My daughter's named Renee. Some of you know her, right? So when Jewel handed me this poem to read today, I thought about Renee because I just dropped her off at college, and it seems like it was just yesterday that she was your age. She came here when she was 2, and sitting here on this carpet. So here's a poem just to help you think about how precious our time is, and don't make it go too fast, because when I was little, I always wanted to be bigger. And so many people out there in the audience, now we maybe wish we were a little bit younger. Was it just yesterday you had your first preschool day? How is time moving so quickly? If only we could have kept you that way. You're growing so fast. What happened to the babies, so sweet and so small? You were tiny little people just learning to crawl. If only we could have kept you that way. You're growing so fast. There were long nights spent rocking you to sleep, lots of sweet moments to remember, not keep. If only we could have kept you that way. You're growing so fast. We wish we could pause and just stop for a while. We wish we could bottle your laugh and your smile. If only we could keep you this way. You're growing so fast. Take your time. Make it last. If only we could keep you this way. You're growing so fast.
Thank you, Robin. Okay, you guys ready to leave this friendly place? Okay, let's sing out our kids.
And as we center today, we invite you into our centering hymn. You may stay seated for this one, and it's meditation on breathing.
This is actually in parts. So I'm going to go through each part, and then you can choose whichever one you want. The easy one is at the bottom. It goes, breathe in, breathe out, breathe in, breathe out, breathe in, breathe out, breathe in, breathe. So here's another part. When I breathe in, I'll breathe in peace. When I breathe out, I'll breathe out love. Do it again. When I breathe in, I'll breathe in peace. When I breathe out, I'll breathe out love. And the two parts together. Breathe in, breathe out, breathe in, breathe out, breathe in, breathe out, breathe in, breathe. So there's a third part. Goes like this. When I breathe in, I breathe out peace. When I breathe out, I'll breathe out love. When I breathe in, I'll breathe in peace. When I breathe out, I'll breathe out love. And when I breathe in, I breathe in peace. Yeah, do it together. When I breathe out, I'll breathe out. Yeah, breathe in, breathe out, breathe in, breathe out. And you can just do just about anything you want, so. Here we go. Let's start with the easy part first. Ready? The bottom part. Breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in, breathe out. And the high part. When I breathe in, I breathe in peace. When I breathe out, I'll breathe out love. And then the other part. When we're in, I'll breathe in peace. When I breathe out, I'll breathe out love. When I breathe in, I'll breathe in peace. When I breathe out, I'll breathe out love. When I breathe in, I'll breathe in peace. When I breathe out, I'll breathe out love. One more time. When I breathe in peace. When I breathe out, I'll breathe out love.
That has so much joy that I can just feel my body relax a little bit after doing that. We gather today in worship carrying many things. We bring joys and sorrows, joys at sunny days and cooler temperatures, and the joys of family and friends and time shared. We also carry sorrow, prayers for those holding grief, prayers for those in our world experiencing hunger and war. We enter into this time of sharing joys and sorrows with each other, knowing that we are invited to share our truths, whatever they may be today, knowing that a sorrow shared is a burden lightened, and a joy shared is increased in company. So let us begin sharing joys and sorrows. And you may line up here, and Tracy will help me out by giving you a candle. Thanks, Tracy. invite you to join me in the spirit of prayer. When I breathe in peace. Peace. Breathing in peace. Spirit of life, grant us peace. Peace to those in pain, to those carrying sorrows, to those who are suffering. Breathing in peace. Peace that eases burdens, peace that eases suffering. Peace that brings forgiveness and prompts us to forgive. Peace that quiets our anxieties and frustrations, that quiets our need to rush, pushing us to strive for better or achievement. Peace. Breathing in peace. And when I breathe out, I'll breathe out love, taking peace and turning it into love. As we breathe out spirit of love, we breathe out love. Love that spreads laughter and joy. Love that spreads relief. Love for those who need it most. Love that is unending and resides deep in our spirit. Breathing in peace, breathing out love. May it be so. Amen.
This is called Slowing Down by Reverend Manish Mishra Marzetti. In the midst of running from my problems, from myself, from one necessary task to the next, I listen to that impulse within me, the one that reminds me that I could keep on running blindly my whole life, days and months speeding into years, losing all perspective. I'm reminded that learning how to rest and abide in you is in part how I learned to rest and abide with me. I need you as deeply as I need myself, as deeply as I long for comfort, reassurance, guidance, and trust. Your presence feels so distant, too distant, when I'm living life as if it's a marathon waiting to be won. Help me instead recall that slowing down can be just as important, perhaps at times more important than speeding to get things done. Help me remember that the longings of my heart are never satisfied by the sprint, but rather by the slow, languid meander. Help me remember that my weary spirit may be weary because all of my running, I can choose to slow down. Help me make that choice. Walk with me as I make that choice.
Thank you, Tracy. Recently, I've been learning more about neuroscience and development. Currently, my favorite educator is Dr. Andrew Huberman, a neuroscientist at Stanford, with a particular interest in sight, or how the brain and our eyes work together. Now, Huberman has a lot to say about a lot of different subjects, but perhaps one of his favorite topics is one he calls non-sleep deep rest. The power of 10 to 20-minute rest periods built within our day. These periods of non-sleep deep rest are probably not new to us. Non-sleep deep rest incorporates several different categories of rest. For some, it's meditation. For others, it may be simply closing our eyes and relaxing for a period of time. Sometimes it can even incorporate hypnosis or yoga. Specifically to yoga is Yoga Nidra, a guided meditation that takes you into a place between wakefulness and sleep, a slowing down of the brain and body. Huberman points to the power of these non-sleep deep rest moments in calming our body, including our brain, in giving our brain time to learn or process experiences from our day, much the way that sleep helps us to learn and process as well. He also tells us that other moments of non-concentration are important throughout the day too. Times when we let our mind wander away from the immediate task at hand, letting our minds go where they need to go, process what it needs to process, time where we slow down and just be. Huberman highlights that some of the most intelligent and inspiring researchers in his field are known for things like midday naps or always taking a long daily walk. In fact, he tells the story of one scholar wherever he goes to speak as a guest lecturer or at a conference, he always takes his midday nap, usurping his colleagues' offices or random workrooms for his necessary nap. I can just imagine him maybe going to the department chair in some department at a university and knocking on the door and saying, "Excuse me, I'd like to use your office for my nap." And just how sort of like, yeah, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to use this for a nap now. And a lot of this is probably not new to you. Yes, we humans need rest. Yes, it's good to slow down and think. Personally, I know this best from my sermon writing process. Moments while walking the dog or puttering around the house provide the best times for me to consider a sermon and begin to write it in my head. I have to slow down and let my mind wander before I can sit down in a rush then to find the appropriate words for Sunday. The Reverend Manish Mishra Marazetti prayerfully asks the Spirit of life, or maybe you call it God, to help him recall that slowing down can be just as important, perhaps at times more important, than speeding up to get things done. Again, I'll say that again. Slowing down can be just as important, perhaps at times more important, than speeding to get things done. And although this is perhaps not new, like I said, it's kind of hard sometimes, right? When something is wrong or there's a task at hand, we often rush head first into getting it done or solving it. We want the problem to go away, to be fixed. And personally, I can get caught up in that rush to do everything or to be everywhere and forget to take those moments of pause, to create the space to think and feel. An interim colleague of mine recently said that, an interim minister colleague of mine recently said that one of her mistakes in her last year as an interim at her church was hurrying the process. She got caught up in the rush to get through the steps and forgot to pause along the way. And there is a difference between slowing down and getting stuck. Along with the urge to rush, I sometimes get immobilized. And that feels like the other extreme of what we're talking about, of getting really immobilized. And I'm familiar with the anxiety that gives us one or two options. There's either the busy, 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 or there's the freeze, right? And when we're aiming for is something sort of in between those two things, between the busy, 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 and the freeze. And it's slow and thoughtful with pauses built in. Time to dream and time to consider as we go. And the interim time is meant for slowing down. It's specifically a time for slowing down. We intentionally pause to consider who we are, where we are, who we're going to be, and what the future might look like. It isn't rushing to fix things or change things or even to try new things, though there will be some of that, I promise. It is sitting back and listening and contemplating where we are. It's slowing down and acting with thoughtful intention. Last week in the service, I talked about the interim steps that we're going to be going through. And there are other steps too, and those are my steps. Those are the steps that the minister goes through while I'm on this journey with you. And the first of those steps is entering in and getting to know a system. It's not taking charge or coming in and changing everything. It's slowly getting to know the congregation and becoming a part of the system. Even I have work to do. That means slowing down and doing it intentionally. What the Reverend Mishra Marizetti and I call slowing down is something that the American Buddhist nun Pema Chodron calls patience. It's one of her practices of peace. For her, patience is the antidote to aggression. It's the antidote to anger and violence. It is taking a deep breath and waiting when we feel the urge rise up within us to respond. She says, when you are like a keg of dynamite just about to go off, patience means just slowing down at that point, just pausing, instead of immediately acting on your usual habitual response. You refrain from acting. Chodron is encouraging a pause just at the time when we are so pushed, so want to act. Chodron goes on, but at the same time, during this time of pause, you are completely and totally honest with yourself about what you are feeling. This feeling may be rage if we're practicing patience in an annoying or angering situation. This feeling, if we're being honest with ourselves, might be anxiety, the anxiety to find balance or safety, the pressure to rush to the next thing to avoid the uncertainty we find ourselves residing in. We are asked to sit and observe the feelings without letting it push us to respond. This rush to respond and to act will be tempting. It's tempting during this interim time. And believe me, we've felt that also over the last couple of years during the pandemic, where we've tried to rush ourselves out of the pandemic and it just doesn't seem to want to release us. But the rush doesn't satisfy the longings of our hearts, says Mishra Marazetti. He reminds us that again. In fact, it's usually in rushing that we miss what's important, what we really need or desire, who we really are. If we believe in God, we might even miss where God may want us to go or where God might be calling us. In Christian churches, the interim time is about pausing and listening to God's voice within the community and finding direction from that. Pausing and listening to God's voice. That might speak to some of you. In Unitarian Universalist terms, we're pausing and listening to our own inner voices and taking direction from where the chorus of voices all around us, what they're saying. What does that still small voice within this congregation, within us all, say? And some of that information will be surprising, and some of it we already know. We have to slow down, though. Let our brains and spirits have time for pause and listening, not rushing, instead slowing down and listening. May it be so. Amen. I invite Tracy to do our offertory.
And now it's time to go ahead and support our community in the best way you can financially as the baskets come around. Thank you.
along with being really grateful that we have Severin back, we're also thankful to have Michael Soche here with us today. Thank you, Michael. I think it's one of my meditative practices sometimes just to watch people play instruments, because it's so amazing to see the skill. I mean, it's amazing. So our closing hymn this morning is Blessed Spirit of My Life. And so you're invited to stand as you're willing and able to sing with us, Blessed Spirit of My Life.
Blessed Spirit of my life, give me strength through stress and strife. Let me live with dignity. Let me know serenity. Fill me with a vision. Let my mind of fear and confusion, when my thoughts flow restlessly, let peace find a home in me. Spirit of great mystery, hear the still small voice in me. Help me live my wordless creed. Let me yearn for those in need. Fill me with compassion. Be the source of my intuition. When the life is done with me, let love be my legacy.
This church is dedicated to the proposition that behind all our differences, beneath all our diversity, there is a unity that makes us one and binds us forever together in spite of time and death and the space between the stars. We pause in silent witness to that unity.
May the blessing of love be upon you. May love's peace abide with you. May love's presence illuminate your hearts, now and forevermore. So be it. Amen. Shalom. Salam. Namaste. And blessed be. And now our service truly begins. Thank you.